what's happening around the world and what's happening here at home. A very good evening to and welcome to Weekend Primetime News. I'm Sandro Ferdinando and here are your headlines for tonight. UNP MP Ranjanramanayake arrested at his house in Madiwala. Vivajavadi Dhamma Symposium and Mahatripitaka Puja held with the participation of the President and Prime Minister. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa says there will be no divisions due to positions. Blind eye turned upon another tank built by giant Bulletin in Mahiyanganaya. Views expressed on Constitution and Millennium Challenge Cooperation Compact in the political arena. More than 100,000 patients diagnosed with dengue in 2019. First up in news here at home, UNP MP parliamentarian Ranjanramanayake was arrested at his house in Madiwala this evening.
Santosai di mama nan dukin ni මොකද මේක අපගේ ටිකේ අපි බලාපොරොත්තු හිටියා. ඉතින් කිසිම හිතේ දුකක් නැහැ. මම ජනතාවට කියන්නේ මම හැමදාම 30 70 කතා කළා. ඒක ජනතාව දන්නවා. හොරකම මැරකමක් කරලා නෙමෙයි. රජයෙන් දුන්නු නීතියානුකූල ගිනියාවිය ළඟ තබාගෙන සිටියේදී ලයිසන් එක රිනියු නොකිරීම හින්දා රංජනරාමනායකව
The police arrested the MP following a search operation at his house in Madiwala today. Upon receiving a search warrant at 3 p.m. today, the Criminal Investigations Department officers of the Western Province conducted the search while the parliamentarian remained in the house.
මල්ලි අරස් වෙන එක නේ විනෝදෙන් අරස් වෙන්න බෑ නැත්තම් ජොලියක් නෑ නේද චිත්‍රපට වගේමනේ මොකක්ද ආතල් එකක් නෑ මම තිත්තැත්ත කතා කරලා තියෙන හැමදාම ඒ හින්දා මම
I have spoken the absolute truth every time. I am only afraid of the Dhamma and not of any other devil. I am not the type of person to cry and get admitted to hospital. I am one shot and I don't have any other illnesses. In fact, when I get arrested, I promise not to get admitted in hospital.
Yeah, on the way දැන් මල්ලි අල්ලන් යනවනේ මල්ලි ඉතින් අල්ලන් ගිහලා එහෙම අල්ලන් ගියම කටි අසනීප වෙනවනේ ඒ කාලේ තුනනේ ඒකයි මම කිව්වේ මම නම් මල්ලි ෂුගර් නැහැ කොලෙස්ටරෝල් නැහැ මම බයිපාස් නැහැ බයිපාස් නැහැ අපල නැහැ මල්ලි බයිපාස් නෙද ලංකා හොස්පිටල් එකේ යන්න ඕන වෙන්නේ නැහැ ලංකා හොස්පිටල් යන්නෙත් නැහැ
I won't go to Lanka Hospital. I promise the people that I will not go to Lanka Hospital, Asari or Navaloka hospitals and hide. If something is found at my home, they will definitely take me away. So I pray that they won't find anything and anywhere there is nothing to be found. If I don't get caught for something, then I will walk away with a smile, just like this, but I won't take refuge in the hospital. Following the arrest, the MP was taken to the Western Province South Motor Traffic Division.
In more local news, the Vivajavadi Dhamma Sangha was held at the Sukadadasa Indoor Stadium today. The event was attended by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
Chief incumbent of the Mahanayaka Theros of the Tri-Sex were present at the occasion. Dignitaries including Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, former President Maithripala Sirisena and Speaker Karujai Surya were also present.
නවීන තාක්ෂණයේ ආධිනව ගැන අපි ඕන තරම් කතා කරලා තියෙනවා.
We have spoken about the beliefs of modern technology. There have been a lot of fear about how computer technology is going to mislead the younger generation, but the benefit of modern technology is only reflected at times like this. No matter what anyone says, everyone accepts the fact that Buddhism originated from Bharata, but pure Theravada Buddhism is here in Sri Lanka. We must definitely use this technology for the betterment of Buddhism. The Dhamma Sangha was recently reflected on the role they played to help the rural and lay community overcome the challenges of the Sambuddha Sasana. During that era, there were many missions that were conducted against Buddhism and the Sinhalese community as a whole. Defending the Buddhist order, protecting the Sinhalese, protecting the country's unity are all interlinked. These are not standalone acts. In our history, it's prominent that other religions can protect their religious freedom in the community only if the Sinhalese Buddhists are protected. It is the Sinhalese Buddhists who ensure the freedom of all religions and nationalities in this country.
මේ රටේ වාසය කරන සියලුම ජාතීන් වල ජනතාවගේ සියලුම ආගම් වල නිදහස තහවුරු කරන්නේ සිංහල බෞද්ධ ජනතාවයි.
The President and the Prime Minister donated Tripitaka tabs to the Mahasangha. The 10-year Vibhajyavadi plan for the upliftment of Buddhism and the proposal to set up Theravada Dhamma Script Donation Fund to provide Tripitaka Dhamma text to temples around the country free of charge were also presented to the President and the Prime Minister.
Back in news here at home, another rally from the series of rallies that are organized by the United National Party to appreciate the support rendered by the people during the presidential election was held in Baddegama today.
UNP electoral organizer in Baddegama, Bandulal Bandarigoda, organized this rally.
If we strongly and truly get organized, it won't be a hard task to achieve this victory. We are not divided because of positions. Our MPs should achieve our aims. We are facing a lot of difficulties because of the recent defeat. It was the people who were defeated. Through the opposition leader's office, we are taking measures to provide legal service free of charge to those who are subjected to injustice. Our journey needs a new vision. I clearly want to say that in order to fulfill the duties to the Buddha Sasana, they resumed the project to build 1,125 chaityas. 6.9 million people said that the agreements were signed to separate, divide and destroy the country. What is surprising is that there is no word about it. After results came out on the 17th, there was no word about the MCC agreement. There were no discussions regarding AXA or SOFA. We are getting information that they have appointed a more intelligent committee to analyze the AXA and SOFA agreement. They will determine if they are good or bad. Did they say that during their election campaign that they will be appointing committee to determine if MCC is good or bad? Is that why they got the people's mandate? I urge the government not to deceive the people who voted for you. No one can say there are international coups while I am opposition leader. There is no chance that they could be created. The opposition leader's position is held by a real patriot.
Commander of the Air Force Air Vice Marshal Sumanagala Das arrived at the crash site of the White Whale aircraft belonging to the Sri Lankan Air Force earlier this afternoon. Meanwhile, the bodies of the members of the Air Force was handed over to their families today following the post-mortem examination. Their remains were airlifted from the Badulla General Hospital. Squadron leader Buddhi Veerabedda was the pilot of the plane at the time of the crash. His co-pilot was Flight Lieutenant Lankapura Kulatunga. Records show that leading aircraft craftsman Hettiarachi and Sergeant D.W. Kumara were inside the plane at the time of the crash. Squadron leader Buddhi Veerabedda, who was the pilot of the plane, was a resident of Hokandara North. He was a father of one child. Flight Lieutenant Lankapura Kulatunga, the co-pilot, was a resident of Hondiadeniya in Gampula. Our correspondent stated that he is the second child in his family and was engaged to get married in March. D.W. Kumara was a 37-year-old father of two who resided in Ramarvatta, Tissamarama. L.A.C. Hettiarachi, who also lost his life in the crash, was a resident of Telijjavala, Muruthuwavela in Mathara. The cause of the crash is yet to be ascertained. Meanwhile, former JVP Provincial Councillor Vasantha Samarasinghe also spoke about the Millennium Challenge Cooperation Compact today. Some countries interfered directly, some do it indirectly. What was the reason behind the attack carried out against the Iranian military leader? Before that, what about the attack made on the US embassy in Baghdad, Iraq? What was the reason behind that? That is the issue. US confirms that it was a military leader who was killed. Either US funds these actions or make their friendly nations do the job. The same thing is happening in Sri Lanka. The US government is blackmailing the government so that it will be compelled to sign the MCC. They have made all arrangements to make that happen. Views were expressed with regard to the investment project where 3.5 acres of land in Colombo will be given to a foreign country. The government led by Gotabaya Rajapaksa is trying to give away the 3 acres of land opposite to Golface to a subsidiary of Shangri-La. But they must show the people that this was given to Singapore. But the truth is, there is a connection between these two companies. This property has been taken over by Perennial Real Estate Holdings Limited. Another organization named Wilma International Limited owns 20% of stake of Perennial Real Estate Holdings Limited. Another organization named the Cork Group owns 30% of stake of Wilma International Limited. Now the parent company of Shangri-La Hotels is the Cork Group. Although the government tries to show everyone that one investment was from China and the other to Singapore, this property was given to Shangri-La. This is not what the people voted for. The United People's Freedom Alliance was the first to accuse the project of constructing a 30-story commercial tower on a 3-acre plot of land located between the Beira Lake and Shangri-La Hotel on Baladaksha Mouth in Colombo as fraudulent. Minister Malik Samaravikrama has presented an amazing proposal to the cabinet named the amendment proposal submitted by Perennial Real Estate Holdings Limited. They are proposing to sell this property outright to the Singapore-based company. The government has provided an estimate of 12.5 million rupees per perch. Didn't the value of property increase in the past 8 years? In our view, a tender should be called for this matter. We could get a high value for the property.
I remember MP Kanchana Wijesekara made a huge fuss about this matter back then. Does the public approve the government's agenda? They have given out this property without following any tender process. It's been a month since the government came into power and they are already engaging in such transactions. It is the government's responsibility to maintain transparency.
ගනුදෙනුවක් කරන්නට මේකේ විනිවිදභාවය පිළිබඳව රටට හෙළි කරන එක මේ රජයේ වගකීමක් විදිහට අපි දකිනවා.
However, today MP Kanchana Wijesekara expressed the following views in this regard.
මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ අගමැතිතුමා විසින් ඉදිරිපත් කරපු කැබිනට් පත්‍රිකාවේ
The cabinet paper submitted by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa includes all these facts, including the date of approval, how the property was given out, and the approval given by the previous government. The lease agreement was given to Perennial Real Estate and the land was taken over by the BOI from the Ministry of Defence in 2018. Our government has actually expedited the process. The granting of approval, selecting the investor, and the provision of the land deed was all done during the previous regime.
මේ කියන සියලුම කාරණා සිද්ධ කළ තියෙන්නේ පසුගිය ආණ්ඩුව යටතේ.
පහුගිය රාජපක්ෂ ආණ්ඩුවෙන් තමයි ශැංග්‍රීලා ඉඩම සින්නක් කරව වික්කේ.
It was during the previous Rajapaksa regime that the Shangri-La property was sold outright to them. The present government now claims they have received a wonderful investment and plans to lease the property adjacent to Shangri-La in Baladaksha Mouth. Mr. Bandulagun Wadana said yesterday, we hope to receive more investment projects like this and the government must provide more facilities for this. The present government fooled the general public to win the election.
මේ රටේ ජනතාව ගුණාටෙන් දෙව්වේ ඡන්දය වෙනුවෙන්ද?
Meanwhile, journalists questioned parliamentarians in Nuwara today regarding the provision of the property in question to another subsidiary company of the parent company of Shangri-La. Shangri-La is a large chain of hotels expanded worldwide. We are not aware about its parent company. even if there are links between the companies that does relevant to us.
එහෙම තියෙනවා ඒකේ සම්බන්ධකම් ඇති ඒක අපට අදාළ නැහැ.
මේ බලාගෙන ගියාම ශැංග්‍රීලාම තමයි මේ ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ ලොකු.
The property has been given out to another Shangri-La company. There is a huge scam behind this. It has been reported that Perennial Real Estate is another subsidiary of the parent company of Shangri-La. Shangri-La is playing the same game after this government came into power. Who is benefiting from this? Why did the government do this so quickly? Why did they not call for tenders? The government must answer these questions.
ඇයි මෙච්චර කඩිනා? ඇයි නිසි ක්‍රියාදාමයේ ගියේ නැත්? ඇයි ටෙන්ඩර් කළේ නැත්? ඇයි වෙනත් තරඟකරුවන්ගේ ඉල්ලීම් සලකා බැලුවේ නැත්? මේවා පිළිබඳව උත්තර දෙන්න තියෙනවා.
Still in local news, a special investigation was carried out in the Uddavalave National Park in search of poachers. The operation was launched after the remains of a leopard was found in the vicinity of the Mauara Reservoir near the Uddavalave National Park. The Police Special Task Force, together with the wildlife officers, have commenced this extensive investigation into the Uddavalave National Park. The STF said the operation had been carried out since yesterday. Meanwhile, zoologists point out over the past 6 years, more than 100 leopards have been killed. Although there are sufficient laws in place to protect wildlife, animals still live in danger due to such laws not being enforced and the various myths and human beliefs.
මෙලෙස මියගිය කොටි අතර ලංකාවේ මෙතෙක් නිසි ලෙස හඳුනා ගැනීමක් නොකළ
We are yet to identify the leopards. 3 black leopards are also within those killed. We observe 2 main reasons for hunting these animals. One is for their skin and the other is for their teeth and nails. There is a myth revolving around these body parts and therefore there is a market for these products. This is nothing but a myth. There is no evidence that the law is being enforced against such crimes.
ඒ ඉඩම් හිමිකරුවන් පවා අත්අඩංගුවට ගැනීමක් මෙතෙක් සිද්ධ වෙලා නැති බව අපිට වාර්තා වෙලා තිබෙනවා.
Against a backdrop where the Department of Wildlife Conservation is being accused of not enforcing such laws to protect wildlife in the proper manner, Newsfirst attempted to contact the Director General of the department. However, all attempts proved futile. We have launched this operation to identify and arrest the individuals who committed this crime. The Police Special Task Force is currently supporting the wildlife officers. We are disappointed with the fact that we were not able to protect these animals despite having sufficient laws in place to protect wildlife. We lack facilities and human resources to carry out operations to protect animals. This was the same response I gave in the 1970s. Even after 50 years, I'm saying the same thing. We must find a solution for this matter within the next few weeks. Against such a backdrop, where reports surface about animals being killed due to various myths and beliefs, why is the mystery behind the death of 6 elephants in September last year yet to be uncovered? Locals in Polpitigama, Mahasiamalawa have been hampered due to wild elephant problems. Our reporter visited the area.
The farmers living in Mahasiambalagamo charge that the wild elephants enter the village and devastate their paddy fields and cultivations.
There is an elephant fence, but the elephant breaks this and enters the village. The fences are constructed once again, but in vain. The elephants destroy them once again. There is no response from the wildlife department on this matter.
The elephants visit the village between 6:45 and 7 in the evening. At that time, there is no male present at home. It's just us, and this is a huge issue. We can't step out of the house with our children. When our children fall ill, we have no way of taking them to the hospital.
Religious observances were held in Colombo this evening, remembering the elephants who died.
Representatives from several environmental associations attended the event.
There are reports that there are around 5,000 to 6,000 elephants. One reason behind the death of elephants is hakapatas. Train accidents is also another reason. Farmers also use guns without any hesitation. So we tell the government, if you want elephants used for parades, intervene and do something about it.
Minister of Foreign Relations and newly appointed Leader of the House, Dinesh Gunawardene, will tour to India on an official visit. Spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the minister is due to visit India on the 9th of January and 10th of January. This is the first official visit by Minister Gunawardena after he was appointed as a Minister of Foreign Relations. Ministry of Health said around 100,403 dengue patients were reported last year. This is the highest in 2 years.
Director of the National Dengue Control Unit, Dr. Anura Jayasekara, said that the highest number of patients, a staggering 21,567, were reported last November.
The December cases were now dengue is decreasing trend with the northeast monsoon, especially the eastern province. There are some increase in trend in especially Trincomalee and Betiklo, but it is not very high. So, we have done so many special campaigns organized by the national level and also the provincial and district level.
The Ministry of Health states that 91 dengue-related deaths were reported last year. Meanwhile, Newsfirst inquired about the spread of an influenza in several parts of the country. Professor Dr. Aruna Munasinghe commented about the Gampha district.
The type of influenza which we get these days is mainly it's type B in the Gampha district, which is relatively harmless, but I must say it can bring very nasty effects on people who are extremes of age and who are having compromised immunity. Other than that, usually people will get cured on this own, but you can have a secondary infection, that is kind of pneumonia, if you neglect it. So you should not neglect it.
What are the symptoms and what actions should be taken in this regard?
It usually occurs suddenly, not like a common cold. Common cold, this starts gradually. Usually starts with symptoms like sore throat, and then severe body ache, then dry cough and high fever. And some people end up with some mild symptoms also. Once you suspect, you must consult a doctor.
Ancient Sri Lanka boasts a distinguished hydraulic civilization. The technology used to construct the irrigation tanks of Sri Lanka is unmatched. Newsfirst provincial reporter Buddhika Sanjeev filed this report.
This paddy field that is located in the Kalavawa Situnagrama Niladhari division in the Mahayangani electoral zone of the Badula district is where the ancient Udavawa once stood. As claimed by locals in the past, this vawa supplied water required for the cultivation of 180 bushels of paddy. It is a known fact that this vawa was built by Bulletin, one of the Dasamahayodhas who resided in the Ududumbura Kiripati village during the reign of King Dutugamunu. The first stone sluice gate in Sri Lanka was constructed in the Sorobora vawa, while the second was built in the Uda vawa. The sluice gate is one of the many examples that represents the glory in Sri Lanka's ancient irrigation system.
History says the Bulata giant visited Mahayangane through Udumbura Kiripattiya, which is currently known as Morayaya. They say he came through a road named Galpadiyala. The Sorobora Vawa and the other nearby Vavas were built during the reign of King Dutugamunu. The Mahayangane Chaitya was also constructed during the same period. History says after Bulata built the Sorobora Vawa, he washed his mammoty in the Uda Vawa. This sluice gate is similar to the sluice gate of the Sorobora Vawa. This was the path to the sluice gate.
There is also evidence that suggests the vawa had been renovated.
The date 1888, 11th month, 11th date, has been carved on this stone. This door was built in 1974, which indicates that the vawa had been renovated that year. They had installed metal wires to prevent the flow of mud and dirt into the vawa. However, these have now been destroyed as they have not been used for a very long time.
With the commencement of the Dambarava program in 1960, usage of this vawa had gradually declined. Locals said the ancient sluice gate was capable of supplying water to every farmland in the area due to its unique location. They said the relevant authorities must pay special attention towards this magnificent creation, which was built between BC 137 and BC 161.
Every time we try to restore this weather, the irrigation department said this weather belongs to the Department of Agrarian Services and not to us. The Agrarian Department says they must send estimates and look into this matter. If the Bulletin giant was still alive, we could have asked him to restore this weather.
Shouldn't the spotlight be turned to this magnificent ancient creation, which was built during an era which did not boast of even a shadow of modern technology? The Gammada team has studied the unique irrigation heritage of Sri Lanka for many years. In 2017, the Gammada team, in collaboration with the University of Peradeniya and experts from multiple universities, published an extensive report on the Bellankadavula Ellanga system. During the second half of 2017, the Ellanga system was named as a globally important agricultural heritage site.
Issuing a statement, Lanka Clear said it has been alerted by several banks and general public with regards to a malicious message being circulated in social media stating that all bank networks have been hacked and to recheck the account balances. The statement said Lanka Clear wishes to inform the general public that this is a malicious message distributed by unscrupulous individuals with malicious intent to damage the reputation of the financial sector. It said that all the banks have been confirmed that the ATM networks of Sri Lanka is not compromised in any way and safe to use. Meanwhile, a delegation of the National Association of One Belt One Road arrived in the island from China this morning.
Newsfirst exclusively spoke to members of the delegation, including Executive Chairman Dr. Jianbing Wang, upon their arrival to the country. Dr. Jianbing Wang said the delegation consists of representatives from different fields and that they are hoping to work with the government as well as the private sector.
It is one of the top 500 corporations in the world, and we provide services for housing, real estate and logistics. For our visit this time, we want to bring more investments to Sri Lanka.
And with that, we wrap up news for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. Do take care and good night.